You talk a lot in your own practice about the distinction between coding and building and architecting.
When AI coding first started to become a thing, we joked about, hey, engineers are not going to be replaced because, the consumers of anything we build don't really know what they want. And if you can't clearly describe what you want, we can't give you what you want. If you give me like a very high level statement, I'm going to build a best effort thing. And that's kind of what LLMs do. If you give them a very simple prompt and you're looking for a one shot magical solution, they'll probably give you something. Is it going to be what you wanted? Might be hit or miss. And this is why I think there is a lot of importance and good discussion that's happened in the last year around, things like spec-driven development, the importance of you having a good spec file, doing a lot of upfront planning to clearly define like what is the thing that you actually want built. What are the constraints around it? What are the success criteria? Do you benefit from being very specific about your stack, the libraries you're using, the UI components you're using, all of those kinds of things? In my experience, all of that clarity and context has generally led to much higher quality outcomes. Now I might spend perhaps 30, 40% of the time a task takes just to actually write out what exactly is it that I want. And I spend the time gathering sufficient context around that. So I'll actually have in my projects like a context directory or a resources directory, and that will have a lot of the other things that I think are necessary for someone to be successful, like building out the thing. You don't have to do that. Your agent, your harness is going to be able to call out to the internet and do some research on its own. But I feel like just being very explicit with what you want, what is the architecture of the thing that you want? Do you have an opinion on that? Because you're just going to waste tokens otherwise if you're leaving it to the LLM to figure out. LLMs are very good at like grounding things in the lowest common denominator, right? Like if there are patterns in the training data that are, very popular or that the average person does, they're going to use those unless you tell them otherwise. If you are in a team and you have established best practices for architecture for how you build, codify that stuff in your context in either a system like that can be called via MCP or via just like literally markdown files, something. And that will like very likely improve the chances that what gets built can actually be used by your team and not just be something that you throw away. I also think a lot about the importance of having a clear sense of like what is your quality bar. This touches on, aspects like code review too. There are teams who don't necessarily know how to navigate code review in the age of AI right now. Increasingly, teams feel like, especially senior engineers and teams feel like they're kind of being just trashed with all of these PRs that are AI generated. People don't necessarily understand everything that's in there. And you then have to balance this idea of like increased velocity expectations with what is the quality bar? Because someone's going to have to maintain this over time. You can say like, well, the AI coding agent can just rewrite this thing from scratch, or I'm just going to have my agent be the one that maintains it. But every week I run into problems where, maybe the LLMs were not able to solve it. I have to roll up my sleeves. I have to actually go in and manually change things. And having an understanding of like what you consider to be good enough quality, like so that will help you understand, okay, what are the cases where maybe I am okay with merging in a change that was AI generated if it's small enough or compartmentalized enough, or maybe it has a sufficient testing coverage to give me high confidence. And what are the places where we really, really, really do need to apply a lot of human in the loop?